Who murdered Vanessa Guillen? Hello, everyone. Today, I'm diving deep into a case that has captured the attention of millions around the world, the mysterious and tragic death of Vanessa Guillen. Join me as we unravel the clues and explore the shocking details behind this heartbreaking story. Vanessa Guillen, 20, was a private first-class Army soldier who vanished on April 22, 2020. Her parents are Leo and Gloria Guillen, and she was born in Houston, Texas, on September 30, 1999. Vanessa has 5 siblings. Vanessa was known for being a spunky and gregarious person. She was also very high energy and athletic. She enjoyed playing soccer and other sports as a child. Vanessa recently graduated from high school in 2018, placing her in the top 15% of her class, demonstrating her intelligence and motivation. Around the time of her high school graduation, Vanessa decided she wanted to be in the Army. After graduation, Vanessa made the decision to apply. At the time, Vanessa was employed as a 91F, a small arm and artillery repairer. She now lived and worked on Texas's largest military base, Fort Hood. At first, Vanessa was happy about her military career, and her parents were proud of her. But 3 weeks prior to Vanessa's disappearance, Vanessa's mother noticed that something was off. It seemed to her that Vanessa was acting strangely. Vanessa's mother was the person who knew her daughter the best. She claimed that Vanessa had simply become withdrawn, wasn't sleeping well, wasn't communicating properly, and that she just had a motherly instinct that her daughter was in trouble. Eventually, Gloria convinced her that Vanessa was being harassed sexually by a sergeant at Fort Hood base, and what's even more crazy is that Vanessa wouldn't tell her mother the name of this guy because she knew her mom would call the throw fit and defend her, but Vanessa was afraid it would occur. Her mother had offered to report it on her behalf, but Vanessa informed her that she knew of other women in the Army who had reported similar incidents, and the Army had done little to assist or even believe them. Vanessa was complaining to her mother about a base sergeant who was following her about and observing her as she worked out. She claimed that this was severely upsetting her in her living and working environment and was negatively affecting her mental health. Vanessa's mother repeatedly reminded her that they needed to report it, but Vanessa never disclosed the name to her mother, instead merely promising to take care of it. Vanessa was very close to her sister Mayra and had spoken to her the night before she vanished. They were discussing Vanessa getting a new car. Everything looked fine, nothing alarming. Before she vanished, Vanessa was going to file a report. Vanessa vanished the following day, on April 22nd, and the U.S. Army received a report of her disappearance on April 23rd. Criminal Investigation Division, and on June 9th, a $15,000 reward was offered for any information that could lead to Vanessa's whereabouts. Later, this was increased to $25,000, and on June 16th, the League of United Latin American Citizens said they would match that, making the total amount up to $50,000. However, from the start, many people were wondering how Vanessa could go missing and how she could not be seen leaving the base, because this is a very high-tech military base with cameras everywhere, check-in points, and people everywhere. It appeared that Vanessa could not have left the base, and no one saw her leave, and no camera picked her up leaving the base. Vanessa comes from a fighting family. Her mother and sister are so resilient that many people show up to support the 5 Medessa movement and press Fort Hood to provide an explanation for what happened when she went missing on the post. In a statement made during an interview, Vanessa's mother threatened to close the Fort Hood installation if her daughter was not discovered alive. Vanessa was not even supposed to be working at Fort Hood. She was called in by someone, and on that day, she was supposed to be working in the arms room, which is where the guns are kept. However, according to a witness, Vanessa left the room to go to another arms room on the base, where she was supposed to verify some equipment's serial numbers. This room was administered by 20-year-old specialist Aaron Robinson. When he was asked about Vanessa's visit to the arms room that evening, Aaron Robinson replied that she had indeed gone there. He said he had assisted her in reading off some serial numbers, given her some paperwork, and given her the serial number of a gun that needed to be serviced. Aaron said that when Vanessa left the room, he thought she was going to the motor pool. The employees there said they were expecting Vanessa to show up, but she never did. It was evident that Aaron Robinson was the last person to see Vanessa after looking through her phone records, that the last text message that Vanessa sent was to her. Aaron claimed to have contacted Vanessa to let her know that he was in the arms room. About a month after Vanessa went missing, The Army conducted witness interviews and found that several of them saw Aaron Robinson walking around the base carrying a tough box. He said that he left the base that night and went to his house, which was off the base. It's unclear if he was living with this person full-time, but he had a girlfriend there named Cicely Aguilar. Aaron said that he spent the entire night at his house just chilling with Cicely, and then he returned to work early the following morning on base. Given the graphic nature of the video and the likelihood that many of you are aware of its outcome, you may wish to skip it altogether. This is a heartbreaking account of what transpired the day after the police interrogated those witnesses. Because Aaron Robinson may have been involved, they utilized a tool on his phone known as a universal forensic extraction device, which also pulls GPS location. So after they did this to his phone, they looked at his phone records and saw that Aaron had called his girlfriend multiple times on the evening of April 22nd. According to a narrative being spread by the Army, Cicely was having an extramarital affair with Aaron since she was married to someone else on the post. It seems that Vanessa learned about this, and they said that Aaron killed her because he was afraid she would expose him, as that is against the law, and he was afraid she would report him to the Army and he would face consequences. Most people believe that Vanessa's family was involved in some way, but I believe it was more likely that she was going to report him for sexual harassment, which is why he did it. The Army is attempting to protect itself in this case, and for whatever reason, he felt threatened enough to kill Vanessa by beating her to death with a hammer when they discovered it. As the police conducted additional investigation, they discovered that they had traveled to Belton, Texas, to engage in some stargazing. Following this, they had returned home. The police then examined Aaron's GPS records and discovered that he had been in Belton, Texas, at approximately 2:30 a.m. on June 23rd. They claimed that he had been on or near a bridge at this time. They then tracked his phone for 2 hours as it traveled north along the Leon River, and not only did his phone display the same patterns as theirs, indicating that they were together. As a result, they searched Leon River on June 21st. There, in addition to an obvious burn site with disturbed soil beneath it and the smell of decomposition, they discovered the remains of a burned plastic container. However, at this point, no remains had been discovered. 6 days later, while working on a fence near the Leon River, some contractors discovered Vanessa's remains. One of the workers, Tim, reported that there seemed to be bits of lime mixed with dirt and soil scattered across the remains. This brings us to the somber discovery made close to Fort Hood, where human remains have been found. As authorities continue to search for missing soldier Vanessa Guillen, new questions have been raised about unidentified remains found in Killeen, Texas, near Fort Hood. It is becoming increasingly clear that they were both at this location on the night Vanessa went missing. At the second interview, which took place on June 30th, Cicely broke down and revealed everything. She said that on April 22nd, Aaron had gotten in touch with her, telling her that he had killed a female soldier on the Fort Hood base by beating her to death. After the soldier died, he had taken her body out of the base and put it in that tough box. He then picked Cicely up from her job at the gas station, and the two of them drove to Leon River because they claimed that when they arrived, Aaron had already brought the box there, so it was waiting for them. When he opened it, he discovered Vanessa inside. After Cicely called Aaron, as the police listened, she went over everything they had done. Aaron had consented to everything and had not denied any of it, so the police knew he was their guy. Additionally, they discovered texts that Aaron had sent Cicely about news stories regarding the discovery of remains. Later, in a conversation between Cicely and Aaron, he mentioned that it's possible that the pieces had been found, even though Aaron was meant to be in his room at the time. On June 30th, he managed to escape the base, and they were able to locate him walking the streets a few days later on July 2nd, and Aaron immediately shot himself when they got close to him. The lone surviving suspect in the Vanessa Guillen case, 22-year-old Cicely Aguilar, appeared before a judge this morning. She is charged with conspiracy